masculine pose. The age of betrayal is what I want to term this video, the age of betrayal. Now, I'm not going to try to pretend that society has been good and perfect. I'm an 80s baby. It has not been so, but one can only look to how we're behaving and conducting ourselves now as a people group, tribes and people and nations, that there's less and less honesty in people's hearts. If you look at like somebody who grew up in the church, if you look at the doctrines of the church, these pastors, if you go to Africa, they're called papas. If you look at their doctrine, it's not leaning to what's in favor of the male. And I'm focusing on the male on purpose because the betrayal of the male is not something that people feel sorry for him. So that's why it's the age of betrayal. Because on one hand, back in the day, you could say World War One, there was a betrayal element because the wars were not necessary. World War Two, but now there's a commonality of betrayal on a regular basis of the male. Like if a woman says, "Well, I know he's a good guy, but I'm kind of bored with him, so I'm gonna divorce him and just take all his stuff, or at least half of his things." You're not gonna get a whole lot of people say, "No, don't do that. That's wrong. Y'all gonna judge you." No, there'll be none of that. People have no problem to betray that, to betray the trust, to break the trust that was established. And oftentimes the trust is established on the fake premise, fake femininity. Because a lot of people do not possess the genuine femininity. They know how to act it out. And if you're fooled as a man, you got duped. You find yourself in a situation that was not, you got into it with real assets, real value, true value, right? Only to discover that the individual understood it as a temporary thing that they were doing. So you were doing the whole in love for real, but they were doing it more like, oh, it's my first husband, or get it out of your system, get that wedding under your belt. So that's one betrayal. And the other betrayal, like I said, the religious betrayal. A lot of churches did not preach the truth about a man's authority in the home, because how do you explain a lot of religious women that don't honor their husbands? Because remember, the word is supposed to be the Most High, God, and then the man, the woman, and the children. But it's not so in modern day society. A lot of females go to church, but they'll never acknowledge the man's authority, and they'll not allow him to lead. And they're always going to say, "I am looking for a God-fearing man." But they'll be the quickest to divorce him, and they're going to divorce him not in a Christian way. They're going to do it the worldly style, which means take your stuff, which then tells me that the whole Christianity that you was fronting, that was just a spray on, because there has to be a differentiation between the Christian Bible stuff that y'all talk about so much and the worldly things, but there's no difference. Look at the dress code. A man could say, "Honey, I love the way you look, but I can't have you dressing looking like that." You know how she gonna betray him? She gonna be like, "Well, you just insecure." Instead of acknowledging that she knows that what attention does, she gonna gaslight it. That's a betrayal. So your leadership is not welcome. You're being betrayed, even when you're stating something that you understand. Don't wear that, honey, because your booty gonna pop too much. She gonna, instead of acknowledging that, because remember you're supposed to be the head, you're not gonna get that. And pastors do not correct that in the church. Some of these pastors be sleeping around with the women. So that's the betrayal. And then the betrayal of the work. How many times you work, the boss asks you to stay back and he don't pay you properly. And that's why a lot of men try to do, subcontracting and do their own thing, do their own business. That's another betrayal. And then the other betrayal is this concept of, let's say you're trying to date somebody, but they don't really like you for real. But they're going to have you leading you on because it costs you money, it costs them nothing. Then you discover that it's fault of you dealing with the same lady. You see, same woman, I should say. Some of these ladies, some of these women did not even be ladies. So I believe that betrayal has been normalized. Women are kind of empowered and encouraged in it. You cannot tell a woman what to wear. You cannot. You cannot tell her, "Oh, don't talk to him. delete his number. Because she'd be like, well, I don't got a ring yet. But meanwhile, she's been going on dates with you. So it's an age of betrayal because you can't trust anything. Whatever you see, you don't have to trust it. So, but men, I think they're coming through trying to be sincere. Now, I'm not saying that some women have not been betrayed by men that play games. I'm not saying that. I'm very cognizant that some ladies who are well-meaning got played by some guys. But from a man's perspective, I speak to a lot of men who are just well-meaning, and ladies got bored. I find that ladies get bored with routine, monotony. They find it to be mundane, and they put the burden on the man to spice things up. He's the one to make sure he come up with the ideas. He need to constantly woo me. It's almost like the duty of women have been suspended completely. She just has to be pretty, and he has to make sure she's not bored. He has to make sure she's provided for, she's catered for, and he has to make sure that she's not talking to other people. It's on him. Plus, on top of that, he has to provide. So I think it's an age of betrayal. That's why I think men are going to be stepping away from this organized relationships, and the situationships are not translating to long-term relationships or marriages because this is the betrayal element. And then a lot of the latter relationships that are happening at the 30s, 40s are like reactive to the circumstances. Right now, you got the war going on, so people are burdened by bills. So all of a sudden, it hurts to be single. So now they're going to do what? Or let me seek somebody to aid me with my problems, my bills. So now they're going to seek you. Now, if the financial situation improves, they're going to betray you. So things are not being born out of just genuine, organic basis. It's all manipulative game tactics. And I think that in all truth, as much as we can say men have the same optionality, it's not equal. Yes, men can get online and like a whole bunch of Instagram baddies, like a whole bunch of Tinder girls, but a girl don't have to be very attractive to be taken out, given transport, or flown out somewhere, taken to pound town, because men are more thirsty and more men generally have more liquidity. They have more funds. So for a woman to cheat, it don't cost them much. It don't cost them nothing. It just allows them an excuse, and that's why you saw that Russian guy that's moving to Africa. He even get no married women because it don't cost her nothing. Come over here, come to my apartment. But a man, it takes more moves. So the sacrifice of the male, the betrayal that's happening, makes him say, "What's the cost benefit analysis? What's my return on investment?" Because of the age of betrayal, I think that men should move more solo and move with clarity. And should somebody pop up that is a righteous woman, they're less these days. You know, for every 10,000, 50,000, you may get one. Because I say that because I have friends who are divorced, and myself included. And I just see that I've never seen a man hold a divorce party, but I see women doing it. And women will automatically assume that, oh, she must have had it really bad. But some of the men, they were 100% taking care of them. So I think it's an age of betrayal because the man has to show up and do what he was supposed to do and more. But the duties of the female are suspended, and women upload that. You're the queen. Oh, I'm bored. I cheated. Oh, she must have been going through something. She's not giving him any. Oh, that's because, there's always an alibi for the females to why she's betraying the male. Okay? So I encourage men to find who they are. Don't rush into anything long term and build yourself. Your mental is important. Spiritually, very, very important. Read the word and have that discernment. Because a lot of females are just led by social media. Social media is their God. That's why they have all the same talking points. They're doing the same things. They dress the same way, wear the same hair. They're all boss chicks. So a man has to be removed from the distraction because the betrayal to a man is very heartbreaking. If your boss lets you down, he didn't pay you properly, you betrayed. If your girl cheats on you because she's busy on social media posting and guys are lasting after her and she says she went to see her friend, that's betrayal. So that betrayal of a man is very, very damaging. Because oftentimes when men are damaged like that, when they betray, They retreat so hard. I don't really see ladies retreating. They usually hop to the next guy. Oftentimes they already got the other guy lined up. But guys retreat so hard, and they just almost like, if you can envision a young boy in a corner for a period of time, and if you're creative, all creativity is out the window. So the age of betrayal is very real in many facets. So protect yourself, read the word, move correctly, exercise discernment, and build yourself up. Peace, love, and blessings.